Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coaching Conversations with Bukky, where I interview senior leaders within and beyond education to share their reflections about the positive impact that coaching has had on what they do. I am delighted today to welcome David McQueen. And without further ado, I'm going to just hand over to you, David. For the few people that don't know you in this world, who are you and what do you do?
First and foremost, thank you so much. And it's nice to know after all these years we are still in touch. This is good. Even with my troublemaker self, it's really good. So primarily I run a company called Q Squared Limited, and that's a professional development company. I work mainly with senior leaders in large organizations around how they can manage themselves and lead themselves, but also how they can shape the cultures that they actually work with as well. So that allows me to speak. I do some coaching, I do some courses, but in the main, apart from when I'm not making trouble, that's what I do. That's that's who I am. And in terms of my personal, I am married to Madeline, got two daughters, Rihanna and Lauren, and I'm very much family man first and everything else afterwards.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, you're putting your priorities right, which is really cool. So we'll just kick off in that case with my very first question to you, David. How do you define coaching?
Coaching is an opportunity for an experienced facilitator to work with somebody and to get them to not only step into their power,
Mm.
but also to face their fears. And I realize that a big part of coaching for me is being able to read and understand and be aligned with the person in front of me, understand where they're going, have a sense of alignment with them, and then being able to go, right, I'm going to walk with you on this journey. And that for me is coaching. It's a partnership. It's an alignment. It's got to be something where both parties are really willing to understand that the person who's being coached is being taken to this certain destination, but it's going to be done in a safe but brave way.
I love that. And I think, the part that you said there's got to be a readiness to
Yes.
undertake that, particularly as you say about facing fears, which is
Yes.
it's not always easy things. We don't like anything that challenges us or change. And
Yeah.
particularly, facing those fear moments, we just tend to want to
Yes.
step back. But having a safe person, a safe space to do that, I think is very powerful. So my next question to you then in that case, David, is what made you decide to receive coaching yourself? Because I know you've spoken about how you
Yeah.
undertake coaching. What about your from your perspective?
Oh, I love being coached. I absolutely love it. And I think it's iron sharpens iron, which is a kind of a more of a biblical phrase. But I love that stuff that, when you, for me in the work that I do, I want to be in the arena. And I'm trying to find a better metaphor, but that's the one that I've got at the moment. I want to be in the arena with that person when they're doing something, when they're being celebrated, when they're, at optimal performance. So I need to know what that feels like as well. So even if I haven't built a 350 million pound company like some of my clients have done or what have you, I also want to know, whilst I haven't got that bit, what does it look like to have done that, but still have loads of fears, still
Mm.
have concerns about, oh my God, is this going to go away tomorrow? Are people here for me or only because of what I can provide for them? So a big part of coaching allows me to ask myself those questions. It allows me to get interrogated and put on the spot around challenging some of the thoughts or beliefs or behaviors that I have. And doing that allows me then to empathize more when I become a coach to other individuals. So yeah, coaching for me is just as important as being able to coach others.
Love that. And I really, the point where you said about the fact that it allows you to have that empathy of knowing what it's
Yes.
like to be coached, I think it's really important. I always say, if you are providing coaching, you should be coached yourself.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, what made you decide to choose the coach or the coaches who have supported you, helped develop you?
I think it's definitely alignment. One of the things that I struggled with, especially as a professional, because I am very outspoken, because I am a provocateur, because I am out there. There have been times where people think, "Oh, I don't know if I could work with them because you seem to have so many of the answers." I'm like,
Mm,
no, what I'm shouting about is the answers that I do know about. I need somebody to work with me with the ones that I don't know about.
mhm.
And so I've always found that the people who have come on board to coach me intimidated by me in any way. They're kind of like, who even are you? Like, I'll come in here and I'm going to ask you any question. I don't care. It's not in a disrespectful way, but they're just like, okay, so you're David McQueen. I'm happy for you and anybody else who thinks you are good. All right. But I'm in here to do a job and I'm going to do the job. And I love that. And being surrounded by individuals who are genuinely invested in my outcomes, in my excellence, in where I can go, finding people who will genuinely do that and using really good coaching tools to do that, that for me, that's priceless. And so that's how I find them. That's how I find them, people who can do that.
Thank you. Thank you for your honesty in that. And I never thought about it, about the fact that if you're perceived to be, say, like a big personality or celebrity, what have you, that may be intimidating for some people. But
Yeah,
but what I loved is what you said, but they are very clear about the
yeah,
purpose of what they're trying to do. So none of that really matters, which is really interesting. So
yeah.
what has been the impact of the coaching you received?
I get to ask better questions. That for
Mm,
me is pivotal. I'm always of the belief that you see the world differently and you can help people differently if you ask better questions. There's such a, I think of the way that social, even though when I have leveraged social media to my own benefit to provoke people, I realize the way that so much of this stuff is designed is that it makes people reactionary.
mm,
So you see something, it could be a global conflict, it could be something happening in politics, it could be whatever. And there's all these reactions. What I love about coaching is it allows you to take a moment, have a bit of a pause, and instead of reacting, you respond because you're starting to think about the questions that you're going to ask, as opposed to here's an answer that I'm going to give to go and shut someone down.
mm.
I know historically I've come from a place where, like, you're not going to win an argument. I'm going to cuss out your whole family. I'm going to cuss you down. I'm going to go. So we come from that background where we're like, and then I thought, okay, that's good. But again, that's reaction, right? It's not
Mm,
response. It's not
mhm.
it's coming from a place of emotion primarily, as opposed to one of logic. And nothing wrong with emotion, but I just think it should be balanced with logic. And the thing that I love about the coaching that I get is it allows me to go, okay, if you had your client in front of you, what advice would you give them? And how would you want them to be able to navigate this with sense, making sense of that world, doing it as logically as possible? And how do you apply that to yourself so it makes you better at listening and then makes you a better coach for your clients?
Wow, that is very powerful. The fact that you started off by saying that it helps you, it allows you to ask better questions. And again, it goes back to that metaphor that you use about iron sharpens iron, which I've
Yeah,
never heard of. I don't think I've heard of that before, but yeah, it
yeah,
just basically allows you to enhance the skills that you already have.
yes,
Okay, much food for thought. So there are many people that think negatively about coaching. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this particular series. So what advice would you give to, say, like any CEO, senior manager that is unsure about the value of coaching?
yeah. So I think a big part of it is probably having conversations with people who have been coached where
Hmm.
possible. And whether that's if you engage with an actual coach, go and have a conversation with some of the past clients that they may have worked with. And go and see with all the methodologies out there if coaching is actually for you. But don't look at it as something, it's not therapy, and that's really important. Even though there are many coaches who have had experience in therapeutic models, it's not coaching. We're trying to get you to a specific target. We're trying to get you to a specific space. And and again, as I said, all it is when a lot of people are the more senior they get in their career, they realize that there are less people that they can turn to go and have conversations.
Yes.
So why not invest in somebody who is not emotionally invested in this, who's not afraid to tell you the truth, but who wants you to win? And again, just have those conversations with people who have already done it or who are doing it, and then just build on it from there.
Thank you. Short and sweet.
Mhm.
Short
Yeah.
and sweet. David, it's a pleasure, as always. And I always have
Mhm.
to hold myself back from fangirling, even though I'm a fellow shenanigator, as I say. But I
We love that.
really, yeah, I really value the insights that you shared today and your own personal experiences. So that is it for another episode. If you've tuned in, please make sure that you tune into future episodes. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.
You.